My man Howard. Thank you. That's the reading.
Is that on?
That's on. Oh, okay.
Thank you for inviting me today, and I'd like to thank all you people for. Sorry about that. Thank you for inviting me today, and thank you for giving up your 4th of July celebrations to be here. When I walked up here, I didn't know what to expect. I'm a little disappointed that there are not more people of color here, but I think that's why I'm here. It's kind of why I'm here to talk to you today. Again, my name is Howard Jubrey. I'm running for the 15th District in Windsor and Bloomfield. I'm a state rep as a Republican and a conservative. And I'm also a current member. I'm also a current member of the Board of Education. I wrote some notes down here. I'm not great at public speaking, so kind of bear with me on this. 234 years ago, this country won its independence as a nation. Nearly 90 years later, 4 million enslaved people won their independence as free men. The colonies were able to win this independence with inspired leaders such as Benjamin Franklin, Thomas Jefferson, George Washington, and courageous black and white Americans willing to give up their lives for independence and freedom. In 1865, slaves won their freedom with similar inspired leaders like Frederick Douglass, Sojourner Truth, Ida B. Wells, George Washington Carver, Harriet Tubman, and Abraham Lincoln. And courageous Americans, black and white, again, excuse me, willing to give up their lives for independence and freedom. The party that led the revolt that ended slavery was the Republican Party. From 1865 to the early 1900s, many of these newly freed people became Americanized after being barbarized by slavery for nearly 200 years. Okay? What history books don't tell you is how this happened. When finally freed, these 4 million Americans needed to find their wives, their husbands, their fathers, their mothers, their sons, their daughters, their sisters, their brothers, because of a system that sold family members to other plantations in other towns, in other counties, in other states. They did not take this quest alone. They did this with the help of Republicans, white abolitionists, the Freedmen's Bureaus, missionaries from the North, and free blacks. Within 10 years of the end of the war, Hiram Rhodes Revels was the first black Republican senator, U.S. senator, from of all places, Mississippi. Blanche Bruce, another black man born as a slave, was elected U.S. senator in 1875. Mary Terrell was born a slave, went to college, taught at M Street School in Washington, D.C. Her husband, Robert Terrell, was Washington's first black judge. By the way, if you don't know M Street School, it's the only all-black school in the district, ranked as one of the best schools in education for more than 30 years in D.C. It is now known as, it is now known as Dunbar High School. If you want to see a startling turnaround, see what the liberals and Democrats have done with that ranking today. You can just look that up. My point in telling you for all of this, is that for too long, blacks in this country believe that the party that has done most for them is the Democrat Party. If you were looking for a handout instead of a hand up, that's probably true. My grandfathers and their fathers were Republicans and conservatives because they wanted an opportunity to be an equal contributing member of this great country. Most of the 4 million Americans wanted the same thing and fought and worked for those things. Thanks to the American history that's being taught in our schools today, we have lost our way, both black and white. What I have been telling you is not black history, it's American history. It is the path this country had to travel to become the great leader in the world today. I will never be ashamed of the fact that my ancestors were slaves. That is what made me who I am today. What other ethnic group had to travel so far from the bottom to get where we are today? Who inspired these people to seek this American dream? All Americans, especially blacks, should look at our American journey as one God put before us to help us become the best we can be. Instead, the liberal Americans of this country have told us that slavery is the reason why black people will never succeed. And we need them. We will always need them to take care of us. They have told us that because they have told us that we need a black community leader. Democrats have told us this because they see us as a voting bloc that will support them as long as they continue to find ways to extend entitlement programs just so that they can stay in power. If this Tea Party movement is going to be successful, you need all Americans to buy into the American dream. We need to win back the minorities and the uninformed. If you are white, you need to stop fearing the word racist, which liberals and Democrats use freely against conservatives. If you are black, you need to stop fearing the word Uncle Tom. All men, black and white, should strive to be as great as this fictional character was. If you don't know what I mean, read the book. Liberals and Democrats use these words because we have allowed them to redefine history. We can change that if we learn the real American history and not the dribble that our schools have filled our heads with and now our kids. If you know real black history, and by that I mean American history, then you will be able to engage liberals and blacks in real discussions on race and truth of conservatism. Learn the true history of America and confront those liberals and minorities that don't know what it means to be a conservative American. Don't be afraid to be being called a racist. Your heart and God will tell you if you are. Dems and liberals use these lies whenever it suits their needs. If you are armed with the truth and the facts, then they will need to talk about the real issues. We need to move this country away from the progressives and back to the conservative values that all men are created equal. I believe that all persons, physically and mentally capable of contributing to the success of this country, should participate. If you have nothing vested in this country, you have nothing to lose. Martin Luther King once said, "We are not makers of history, we are made by history." Thank you.